could create the Federal Reserve and everything. And it's just
like, okay, there is no way that even if every single person on the Titanic was like a hugely, vastly important banking conglomerate person, which of course that was impossible. There was probably 5 of them on the entire thing. Even if there was 20 of them on the entire ship, those 20 people, no matter what they did, would not have been able to stop the thousands of others that wanted that Federal Reserve to exist. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like you're really stretching shit at that point.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why it's always like, yeah, like they're fun, like treat it as a story, right? Does it make for a good story? All right, cool. Yeah. But leave it at that. You know what I mean? And I love a good story. That's why we like conspiracy theories, especially if it's a good one, because you love a good story. But it's like, come on now. We know when we're being told a yarn.
Yeah, it's just some people just are stretching things way too much.
Oh yeah,
it's sad because like a conspiracy theory that's like really, really credible, and they get lumped into like the really, really wild conspiracy theaters.
Oh yeah,
like theaters, conspiracy theater. They're just like only in stores with that.
Give me genuine reason to believe a conspiracy theory, and I will open my mind to it. Like, for example, I do believe that the CIA may have had a hand in JFK's assassination, but I also believe that the mob had a hand in the assassination because because Bobby Kennedy was the Attorney General of the United States at the time, and he was going after the mob. So what? And shortly after, JFK is assassinated, and LBJ and Lyndon Johnson is in charge. What happens? Bobby Kennedy is no longer in office. So I would not be surprised if you had multiple enemies against the Kennedys working together to get them out of office because, and I do believe there was only one shooter.
Well, and it's one of them. It's one of them situations where it's like there are so many factors, and because the government always wants to be so secretive about everything, and they don't just want to be honest about stuff, right? It causes everybody to have to go, well, we got to put the pieces together ourselves.
Yes.
And sometimes some people look at the pieces this way because it's a puzzle with many pieces that can be interpreted in different ways.
Yes.
You know, but that's what also makes it so much fun. But if the government was just bloody honest, it wouldn't be a problem. But of course, that's because they would lose power if they were honest.
You know, it's such a shame we don't have a time traveler who could take us back to get the definitive answer.
But I mean, at the same time, you did have several of the Kennedy's files released. But here's the thing is that even those Kennedy files, we can't 100% trust because several of them were just hearsays.
Yeah.
It was, hey, this is what I heard. Hey, this is what I witnessed. But they're not all 100% credible because there's just so much going on.
No. Well, and it's one of them situations where, like, and at the end of the day, what it'll all come down to is we'll never truly know the truth, right? Because the
end.
Well, yeah, not until Kingdom Come, right? Because at the end of the day, we know the governments have burned documents and have destroyed documents. We know they've removed people from the planet just in order to keep them quiet. Like we know they've done that stuff.
Yeah.
What could we possibly know about that? What don't we know about what they actually have done? You know what I mean?
And on top of that, sometimes the most simplest explanation is the truth, because we have a lot of idiots in the government. For example, there's a lot of people that believe that FDR purposely got us into World War II, but something that I heard that actually does make credible sense and understandable is that you had a lot of people who were in the translation office and all that stuff who didn't really know Japanese. Yeah. So they're listening to the Japanese. They're going through their code books trying to find everything, but they don't understand Japanese. And when you're listening to, if you don't know Japanese, you're going to miss a lot of context. There's a lot of different words that are spelled the same, but when spoken differently, they entirely change the meaning of the word.
If I can get one example.
Dialects can you,
Yes.
yeah, go ahead. Because dialects and all that kind of stuff can be different. It's just like if you speak Spanish in the United States, you go down to Mexico, it's not the same Spanish.
Oh no,
Sorry, go ahead.
dialects. No, it's good. I love this because it's a prime example about Japanese. Soba and sobo.
Yeah.
If you don't know the difference, okay, one is noodles and one is your grandmother.
I watched a couple short videos by a Canadian comedian who does stuff over in Japan on occasion, and he went through and he says, yeah, if you are not careful, you're gonna say something really stupid in Japanese if you don't know the proper way, the proper meaning and proper terms, proper extension of vowels.
Well, I guess that's why they go over and say, I actually did go over and hear this a little bit recently, where if you wanted to try to learn Japanese as the most structured Japanese, you actually want to speak like Frieza from Dragon Ball Z.
A hilarious thing that I heard is that a lot of Westerners that learn Japanese from Japanese girlfriends, a lot of the male Japanese speakers think that they sound gay because they're learning Japanese from the female.
Because it's gendered, but yes. For Frieza, he actually speaks the clearest, most like professional Japanese ever.
Oh, so probably like news reporter Japanese.
Well,
kind of like the English accent for the BBC guys is different than what most people actually speak.
Well, that's also because Frieza as a character was himself based upon like real estate moguls.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
So it's like basically talking to a businessman, just a businessman who murders people.
He's a cutthroat.
That sounds about right for Frieza. Yeah.
So it's nothing personal. It's just business, Splorch.
Yeah,
it's
just business, you stupid monkeys.
To be fair, that's his first iteration. When he starts doing his little evolving thing that he does, no, not Cell Frieza. He has multiple iterations.
Yes, he does.
His dialect does change. It becomes more smart because apparently with different Japanese dialects, it also can reflect upon your living situation, how you talk. A little bit like how they always have someone from like the lower areas of Japan, when they try to make it more localized to America and stuff like that, they make them sound like country hicks.
Yeah.
I
think that's the Osaka accent.
Is it like what is it? Lotta Hart from Phoenix Wright, that chick, where she sounds super country.
Objection!
I'm from the heart of the heartland.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. All right. Well, I think we've beaten this Japanese anime horse to death.
This was a fun conversation.
Dude, we went all over the bike. If you guys had only heard the conversation in the background, you'd be surprised the kind of roller coaster we have just been through.
It's always fun.
It is. It's always fun. Oh, wait. I went too far. We got down to lizard videos. Oh, gosh. We don't need that. Holy cow. I can't figure out where anything is. Oh, there it is. I just need to make that better.
I managed to finish all the pimping I needed to do.
Oh, wow. Well, good job. I mean, that alone in and of itself is a miracle. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some Doctor Who? Let's go.
Not really.
Shut up, Byron.
Face. Where did it go wrong? What a disgrace. When Doctor Who was good, well, it burned like it should. When the TARDIS door slammed,
they can hear you.
And the monster still stood. is all too real. Common nerd ranting, hands in the air. Gallifrey's gone, he's pulling his hair. When Doctor Who was good, when it burned like it should, when the stories had weight, and the endings were Mr. Grant Gregory, he knows it all, the rise, the fall, the cannon call with his scarf and his specs and his books stacked tall. Grant Gregory, tell us
Woo!
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's just with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things that are through a common sense lens. And welcome back to Classic Who. Boys and good, another wonderful edition of When Who Was Good. We are getting back into it. Tonight is the beginning of the end of season 1. Boys and girls, we have the final series tonight, and I think everybody is super excited about it. The Reign of Terror begins tonight with our Land of Fear, episode 1. And so this should be a grand old time. We've got a special guest tonight for this as well, boys and girls. So it should be a very good time. I'm excited to get this started and wrap everything up. So, well, not wrap everything up, but, start in the beginning of, I can't speak this evening. Hold on.
Blah, 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 blah,
There we go.
Words.
I know it's words kind of a thing. It's a words kind of thing.
Times your voice is cracked.
Well, it's like I'm still coughing up and like the weather won't stop changing. So I'm going to sound like a frog like indefinitely until probably March. I'm kind of thinking at this point. So we're just going to kind of go with it at this point. Hopefully I'll end up coming out sounding like Alex Jones and it'll be all right.
I'm going to make the frogs gay.
With you with still.
No, you just got to tell people you smoke a pack a day. It'll be fine.
Well, that's got I think I need to kick up to like 3 packs a day to really properly make that work off. And my God, that stuff just stinks so bad anymore. But thinking of things that don't stink, Sunker Maiden, how are you, my tea sipping friend? You even got the proper glasses on this evening. How are you doing?
What the fucking hell of an intro is that?
I could have said you smelled bad.
Body odor.
She doesn't. I know. I've sniffed her.
Brought to you smell-o-vision.
No.
Look, I smelled her in Vegas, and I can tell you she smells nice. And it was like April in Vegas, so like she'd been walking around all day, and like I'm sure that anyway, we're not going to go any farther than that. I can get descriptive, and I'm not going to. But she smelled nice. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Sunker, how are you?
Call perfume, you fuck. Every girl wears it. Anywho, no, I'm doing good. I fucking am so mad at quarantine because quarantine Zove will not work on my computer. It has the shader problem that apparently other people have been experiencing. So it's just like loading shaders. All right, you got one left to load. Loading shaders. It's been a half hour. Loading shaders.
She tried. I watched and everything. She was definitely having issues.
Oh, that is super. And there's no like patch or update that can just fix it. It's fucking, it's a
no.
problem with the
Fucking
hardware.
indie!
Oh, that is so gay. Shout out to Alec Baldwin's finger. I love you, baby.
Yeah.
But speaking of people I love, Sparta Chris, how are you tonight, my friend?
I'm not too bad. I'm having fun talking with you all. Enjoyed some Dairy Queen earlier after for lunch dinner kind of thing, and a nice big blizzard.
There you go.
It's always nice, and also doing a lot of pre-show reading on a nice little thing. I'm going to share with everyone when we get the chance.
That's right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Spartacus has prepared a history lesson for all of you to introduce the Reign of Terror, because what you might know, and I guess we probably should have prefaced this a little bit when I was bringing up what we're getting into tonight, the Reign of Terror is the Doctor stuck in the French Revolution. And so it's going to be nuts. It's going to be wild. And I don't know how graphic they're going to get with the beheadings. Probably not, because it's like Doctor Who 60s. But we know beheadings are going to happen because it's the French Revolution. That's what they're known for. But speaking of people that are in favor,
Reign of Terror, which is when it really happened.
Yeah. Though I figured the name kind of was a giveaway. So absolutely. But speaking of things, people that are generally in favor of beheadings, Gryffen, how are you, my friend?
Get in that way.
Well,
Yes,
I mean,
it
you're a
is a
Gryffen.
wild
You like to
tendency.
bite. You like to bite things. You have to bite things heads off. Because you're a Gryffen.
But biting is different than chopping. Okay,
Mhm.
you're not supposed to tell anybody.
Tomato.
What is a bite other than a chop with teeth?
I mean, yeah.
Or with a really big beak, grind, smush, mush.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a temper problem. You got a problem with that? You ain't got a problem with that? But yes, class, Spartacus has rather graciously prepared our 6th grade special presentation.
I promise it won't be.
We told his mother to be here, so I'm sure it's going to be about something sweet and loving and something everyone, even little kids want to hear.
That's true.
Full of murder, mayhem, and everything children love to hear about.
Political corruption.
It's got all the intrigue. It's got all the conspiracies. It's got absolutely everything you could possibly want. And to help us all present and get through all of that is, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, our very own personal T-Move version of OP from Sons of Anarchy, who just got cast as Kratos in God of War. Ironcaster, how are you, my friend?
I thought my introduction was bad. Yikes.
Ouch.
I have been saving that since Friday.
This some bitch.
Wow.
Sends me a text. I'm at work, and he's like, "Oh, hey, by the way, you look like this guy." I'm like, "Wait, hold on. Let me." I stop working. I go pull up my phone. I'm like, what does he talk about? Oh, God damn it! I see it.
Oh no. What's wrong?
Dude, I was like, how did that never click in my? I've been streaming with Ironcaster for like 3 years at this point, probably, since I've been doing Comic Shop Talk with you guys.
And Ironcaster's so brave enough to have that beard on.
And it was just like, I saw that picture of him and I was like, holy shit, it's Ironcaster's our T-Move version. Yes.
So what you're saying is,
I love you, buddy. How are you?
Maybe it's time that you think about some redecoration to your face.
Dude, he literally told me he was going to shave his head and his beard. I was like, you better not. I was like, better get some second opinions first before you do that. Yeah, she's already giggling. Don't do that shit. Not to mention, you're going to look like a white national if you do that.
Oh, God.
Yeah, just it's like, they're going to mistake you for a Nazi.
Oh,
They're going to call you
I'm
a
just-
Nazi anyway. Jeez.
There
Well,
is
I mean,
that.
that's true.
And the way that you said
Look,
said that it Sunker made it almost sound like the from
Yeah.
Carrie, where Carrie's mother's like, they're gonna laugh at you. They're gonna laugh at you.
Laugh at you.
but now I won't feel so bad when I go out with my windmill tattoo on.
Oh, God. the
I'm a
Germanic
great fan
Germanic
of-
windmill.
No, he's actually a
I
great
was
fan
told
of
it was
Don
Celtic.
Quixote.
I mean, the guy on the motorcycle who did the tattoo for me told me it was Celtic, so I believe.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Well, he
God.
lied.
Did he also let you ride on the back of his motorcycle too?
Oh no, he had him sit right between his legs in the front.
Oh dear God! Oh dear
I
God!
don't go away.
Okay.
I knew actually that symbol was Asian in origin, but
Oh dear! Oh dear!
No, that's
oh,
that's
dear.
entirely different symbol.
Oh. Oh,
We are
what
off
do I-
to a magical start, people.
Dude, I'll tell you what, I'm in a good place already. This is wonderful. I'm having a good time. Holy cow. All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to say hi to all of you fabulous folks out there in the chat, but I have two things that I have to recognize first because folks just love slipping it in right at the end, particularly on the Bible study, which I think is kind of awkward to begin with, but I don't care. It's money, so it's fine. And I know he's not here, but hopefully Darth Dave at least catches this on the replay because Darth Dave did something that I didn't actually even know was a thing, but apparently is. He sent a donation over on Locals. He became a $30 one-time supporter over on Locals. So that was wild. That was crazy. And because I know of the relationship between Darth Dave and one of my co-hosts, I know the kind of things that he's going to enjoy. But because it was only $30 and because it's not technically a direct donation, I'm not sure how those work. You're not going to get the full thing. But Darth Dave, we love
Just
you.
get the tip.
ah,
Oh.
that one is the one I hate the most.
I thought you had plus one more.
Making out with the lizard.
I'm like picking the worst of the worst amongst the worst.
I thought the octopus one was worse.
The octopus one is the worst, but I tried picking up of the lizard men when I dislike
Making out
those.
with the lizard.
That one just kind of looks like a frog.
Yeah.
Let's go right.
Sunker just loves her iguanas.
No.
Oh, dear
It's that
God.
forked tongue. She just loves.
Oh, and shout out to your average patriot nerd who gifted one common nerd subscription over there on the YouTube side. And just to give Sunker a palate cleanser, here you go.
Oh, no.
Aw.
Aww. Oh, adorable.
There you go. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate both of you. And as always, it is the evening stream, boys and girls. So if $50 donations, we have all kinds of evil things we can do to me, Sunker, or make Sunker, you, and all the rest of us suffer through as well. $25, I'll do a dab. $5 donations, we can do all those kind of fun things. Sunker will go put on one of her favorite little red flannel vests. You guys get to pick your color on that one for donations as well. So there's all kinds of fun things. Basically, if you throw $20 out there and you don't ask for anything too outrageous, you're probably going to get it around here. That's kind of how the evening streams work, boys and girls. So we certainly appreciate all of you on that one. Gamer Tom, what's up, buddy? Over on the Rumble side, since I don't remember, I wasn't here. Either way probably works, but good to see you, Gamer Tom. Him and I were chit-chatting before the show started. Your average patriot nerd over on the YouTube side. Hey, look, he is here. There you go. There you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed everything. Tabletop Junkie, what's going on, buddy? Games, what's going on, Table? Says, what's up, buddy? How's a hoppa? Another one of our fine members of the Nerd Herd says, my conspiracy theory is that Sunker's bosses are demons. I fully support this. I think that even if it's not... Yeah, I don't really think it is at this point either. No, I actually don't think it is so either. No, I think that's completely and totally true. Where's our TARDIS started? Conspiracies must be explained. Exactly. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Oh, there we go. And this eccentric, I see you over on Kick. And hey, Plain Truth over on Pilled. Good to see you, buddy. I see you as well. Says, hey, kids. How the fuck are you today? There you go with Mickey. I love it. Good to see you, buddy. This eccentric, good to see you as well, my friend. Glad you made it in. Says, hail, everyone. Boom, boom, 42. Men and women also speak differently. Yes, we do. Boom, boom. Yes, we do. Good to see you, buddy.
I think that was part of the Japanese talk from earlier.
It was.
Where it's just like the gayness.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
100%.
gay? No. I just learned it from my girlfriend.
Like, that explains a lot. JR24, we're on the YouTube side, and I know JR24 and everybody pretty much knows the rules, but boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, join us over on the Green Machine or one of the alternative platforms out there because of all of YouTube's silly, ridiculous bots and automated systems, and the BBC being one of the absolute worst about copyright claims. So you want to watch the full episode with us and have a good time, join us over on one of those alternative platforms out there, boys and girls. We certainly appreciate you. German speak hooch hooch on TV. Hi, German. See, yep, there you go. Exactly.
Yeah, my mother's family is all 100% German. They're all from a region of Germany called Ostfriesland or East Frisia, which is the armpit of Germany. That's what the Germans actually think of it, because my aunt back in high school had a exchange student in her class, and when she explained where they're from, he's like, "Oh, okay, the armpit of Germany." Basically, because it's poor farming ground, very poor people and everything. But I talked to my grandmother about how does one speak German, because I don't know how to speak German and everything. But she's like, well, which form of German? You have High German and you have Lower German, different dialects and everything from different parts of Germany.
Tourist German.
Yep, it's the same.
Tourist German.
And it's the same thing with Spanish too. Like every country speaks a different version, and every region speaks a different version of has different slang, has different dialect. Tex-Mex is something completely different.
And I mean,
that's a hybrid.
Up until the 19th century, German was a decentralized region of Europe. It was a hodgepodge patchwork. Even underneath the Holy Roman Empire, it was still a hodgepodge patchwork of various German states who all had their own dialects, who all had their own cultures, all their own customs. And it wasn't until Napoleon that he tried to first create a united German state, and then the counter pushback of a united German mentality against him that kind of started getting the ball rolling to unite Germany.
It took hatred of the French.
Yes. No.
There are so many. Don't go off on the tangents,
and also the hatred of the Austrians.
Well, yeah, that was mostly led by Prussia, and Prussia kind of leading the way to that.
It gets
Hit him at my fan site. What's going on, sister? Good to see you. I have to cut them off or they'll keep going. Melissa Smith, 7831 to 7830. Good to see you, Melissa. Glad you made it in, sister. JFK to Japanese colloquialism. This is a Doctor Who show, correct? And yeah, and considering the times of trips in space, that's actually pretty standard for Doctor Who as well. Shadow 199 says, sorry, I'm late and gay this evening. It's okay. We will forgive you. We will forgive you because you're a fine
already late.
Just go over and spit and get the sausage out of your mouth. It's okay, Shadow.
Exactly.
And we're going to slip in you if you're going to talk about Germany without talking about Frederick Barbarossa the First.
I'm glad
I was actually going to go over and use a joke of one girl not knowing what the hell Prussia was, and she went over and asked, "Is it like Russia but with a P?"
Well, yeah, this guy above me can't still pronounce Prussia right.
Prussia?
He never heard of Prussia until I had to brought it up on stream one time.
I remember that.
Look, I'm a fucking American. My ancestors fought in the Revolution, and my other ancestors are Mexicans.
You know what?
Okay?
It's because of the Prussians that we had a military.
What happened in Europe or what happened in some other country that starved most of its population. Not my problem,
it's
okay?
because of Prussia that we actually had a military. A Prussian is the one that taught our military how to fight.
Go. All right, this is going to start cutting into his time on his on his diatribe for the French Revolution. All right, I'm trying to get through a chat. Guys, dude, nerds, I'm upset. This is Cody. I've been in the chat this week. Smith Ruff says got canned from my job this week and trying to figure something out. That sucks, Cody. That is no fun at all, buddy. Sorry to hear that, dude. No fun at all. Sunker definitely did not have swamp ass in Vegas. Shut up. No. Although I can't say I checked her ass specifically, I think I probably would have smelled it if that were the case. I'm going to stop right there. The French Revolution. What else we got here? Gamer Tom. NASA Cody. John Washburn. What's going on, John? Glad to see you right there, buddy. If I shave myself bald, I'll look like I'll start Kingpin.
You're the body double.
There you go. He is. Oh, I love it. Oh, let's see. All right, just make sure I don't miss anybody.
I love all these people coming up with Prussia facts. If you can spam the chat with so many facts of Prussia.
Don't say Pinchy in Mexico. It depends on what you say afterwards. That's right, Peter Van Side. Thank you. Yes, she's hanging out. We got some folks hanging out over on Twitch now as well. Vivo Conquest the World. There you go. Oh, you guys are having too much fun. Thank you, Van Side. Oh, appreciate that, sister, very, very much. I knew I gave her mod powers for a reason, and she uses them wisely. I love her for that. Could Prussia get? Oh yeah. Oh, here we go. You guys are just having too much fun with that now. I'm gonna let y'all be. All right. So, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, Spartacus. Because we are getting into an episode that does have to do with the French Revolution, but it is kind of like he said, this is kind of the height of the French Revolution. They call it the Reign of Terror for a reason, right? This is when things are really going sideways. So Spartacus did himself a little bit of research to give us a little bit of context of what is going on here and what the Doctor is kind of getting himself thrown into. Sunker's got a just one more pause moment, though. First, go ahead, Sunker.
For this dissertation we're going to get on the French Revolution, may we please have historical music, like violins or something, playing softly in the background, so I feel like I'm watching the History Channel from the 1990s.
Oh, I got to go on for you.
Where exactly would you like me to pull those out of my ass completely and totally unprepared? If you get us kicked out, oh God, I got some violins.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was the thing to a summer place. Sorry,
Jesus, I feel like I'm in a Seattle beatbox here. How about that?
Well, it was that.
I mean, it is the French Revolution. We all know how it ended, so.
But you don't have a. You don't have that.
It goes on very long. No, do I look like the BBC? Do I look like PBS here? Okay. Like, my God. I can hear everybody in the background trying to find something that they can play while Spartacus talks right now.
Actually, no, I was replying to
Oh, okay, good. Oh,
because he's slightly off on what he said.
Oh, God. No. History nerds are going to go at it. Yeah. This is why archaeologists can't have nice things.
The twats, AKAX. Common nerd.
For the twits, aka X. I love it.
Sorry, I misread that.
I'd have to find copyright free.
Just be happy that I don't have pictures. I'm gonna have to
just
make
public
Jesse to show up too.
Oh God! Oh, you brought still frames?
No, I'm just saying. Be happy I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I would have loved it. We would have all been at school. It would have been going back to school all over again.
I mean, I learned more about history outside of school than I actually learned in school.
Same.
Okay, so shall I go? Should I begin? Or you got anything else you want to talk about? No.
Continue. This is totally great for the French Revolution.
Nice.
Look, man, I got a couple more out. What we got?
Hey, I'm fine with that.
You're gonna want to probably turn down just a bit.
Too loud, too loud. No. Sorry. Good music, but no.
Just go with the first one then.
Okay, how's that? We got a couple options here.
Yeah, put it at like 10%.
I think that's where we're at. How's that?
Here,
Too loud.
Down, not
Yep.
up.
That's
Okay,
better.
good enough.
Wow, I can barely hear that.
We can hear it just fine. Spartacus, begin.
All right, so I'm actually not going to be starting in the French Revolution itself. I'm actually going to jump a century before, during the reign.
Oh,
Because this does have an effect. This does have an effect.
Yes, it does.
During the reign of King Louis XIV, also known as the Sun King, he reigned from 1643 to 1715. He is the longest reigning monarch in history, 72 years and 110 days, just 2 years more than Queen Elizabeth II. He is the grandson of Henry IV, who is the first Bourbon king of France. Louis was born during a time of great civil strife in France, where you had a lot of noblemen controlling the kingdom more so than the king himself. And there was actually a civil war during his early years, as known as the Fronde. And because of the Fronde, it kind of altered his perspective on French society, and he created a great distaste for Paris, to the point when he eventually got to actually take control of things himself. He took a hunting lodge, the Royal Hunting Lodge that is outside of Paris, and converted it into a luxurious and beautiful palace that we now call the Palace of Versailles. And that is where he moved the royal court to, and did all of his duties and all of his royal stuff at. He also used the Versailles to centralize his power. He used it to distract noblemen, and you just turned up the music.
I tried to turn it down because somebody was crying about it, and I ended up doing was going up higher.
Nice. But so he used Versailles as a place to kind of bring all the rebellious noblemen to his court, and kind of distract them with art, music, beauty, and everything, and kind of help him to rein the power all in. And under his rule, France would become the dominant power of Europe, beating the Spanish, who were the previous dominant power.
We still had access to all that gold, by the way.
Oh, yes. And it basically, under his reign, France entered its apex. But unfortunately, also under his reign, the beginning of the fall would start. Because of him, he undid a edict that was done by his grandfather, Henry IV, or also known as Henry the Great, called the Edict of Nantes, which protected French Protestants, the Huguenots, from persecution and gave them rights to practice as they see fit. Because of this, the Huguenots fled France. They either had the choice of either leaving or die or convert, and most of them chose to leave, which heavily hurt the French economy, basically kind of undoing all the economic boom that happened before. He also drained the French vaults, the French gold's reserves and everything, because he was in endless wars. He was in war after war after war. War with the Dutch, war with the Spanish, war with Austria, so on and so forth. And it basically just put a heavy strain on the French economy. And by the end of it all, he kind of left France in economic problems. And then we come up to his great-grandson, who would take over as Louis the 15th, and also in the early part of his reign was known as Louis the Beloved, in 1715 to 1774. He tried his best in the beginning to try and stabilize the French economy, to try and undo what his great-grandfather did, and restored a little bit of national pride when he won some major victories during the War of Austrian Succession. Nice. He also tried to continue the the love of the arts, architecture, and whatnot that his great grandfather did, and continued making sure that France was the center of the Enlightenment age. He also gained control of Lorraine, which would become a hot point for the Germans later on, the French and the Germans later on in history, about 2 centuries later, and also the island of Corsica, the Italian island of Corsica that was underneath previously the Republic of Genoa. And with the acquisition of Corsica, there would be a certain Corsican who would be born a couple years later and become very important to French history in the coming decades. Yeah, hold on. He unfortunately he would also weaken the French monarchy a little bit, surrendering some powers to his ministers and trusted officials, kind of undoing his great grandfather's work as trying to centralize and make the government into a central government, into an absolute monarchy. He also, unfortunately, because he kind of had a beloved mistress in, well, we already know about her through Doctor Who, Madame de Pompadour, which kind of created a little bit of scandal with the French people. He and by the end of things, he was kind of very unpopular with the people, seen as not caring for the people's affairs and everything. And everything that he tried to do for France was basically undone because of the 7 Years' War, which we here in the United States call the French and Indian War, because France, at the end of it all, France lost its colonial empire in both India and also North America and parts of Africa. Then after his death, we come to the famous Louis the 16th, who reigned from 1724 to his death in 1793. And it was the grandson of Louis the 15th, making him the great grandson of Louis the Sun King Louis the 14th. Yes, I know, a lot of things. He was very liberal-minded. Louis the 16th was very liberal-minded. He tried his best to create a stable country after the economic instabilities of his predecessors. He supported the American Revolution, so we have to kind of thank him for us being here. But in the process, he kind of put his country further into debt. He tried several times to stabilize things, tried to reform the country a little bit, which would eventually lead us into the French Revolution. It began with Louis XIV calling the Estates General, which is basically the French version of a legislature. And it was divided between 3 estates. The first estate, which is the noblemen, the aristocracy. The second estate, which is the clergy. And the third estate, which is everyone else. And each estate only had 1 vote in the election of affairs. So Louis went to the people and said, went to the three states and says, okay, we need to reform taxation. We need to get some revenue going. So can you guys give us some money? The first estate said no. The second estate said no. And so they said, but the third estate can get all the taxes, which these are common people. They're already taxed to no end. This kind of ticked off the third estate, and they went to a tennis court nearby and named themselves the National Assembly, called themselves the National Assembly, and declared the tennis court oath, which is they wanted to create a constitutional monarchy. And completely restructure the whole government. This was kind of back and forth throughout June, but on July 14th, the revolution would begin with the storming of the Bastille, which was a French fort that housed a lot of weapons and stuff like that. And it kind of kicked off everything. The National Assembly would then, in the next month of August, would then declare the national rights, the Declaration of Rights of Men and the Citizens, which basically was their version of the Declaration of Independence and stuff like that. And then in October, the women of Paris would storm Versailles and basically kind of capture the royal family and drag them back to Paris and basically put them under house arrest in the royal palace in Paris instead of them being in Versailles. And this is where a lot of people think the Marie Antoinette, the Queen of France, says, "Let them eat cake." No, she never said that. It never happened. So get that out of your mind. That's just political propaganda. With that, we come to 1790, which is when the National Assembly would declare the civil constitution of the clergy, which basically made it to where the church is now underneath the state's control. It could no longer function as part of the Catholic Church; is now underneath the control of the state. And then during 1790, going on to 1791. The royal family, Louis XIV, or Louis XVI, sorry, and Marie Antoinette and their children would try and flee France and head to Austria, to Marie Antoinette's brother, who was the Archduke of Austria and the Holy Roman Emperor. But they were caught, and they were brought back to Paris. This is also around the time that the Constitution of 1791 was drafted, which basically made the monarchy into constitutional monarchy and established the legislative assembly. That was just the first phase of the French Revolution, the moderate phase. But because of Louis XIV and his family's attempt to flee, it leads us into now the radical phase. Because of his fleeing, it caused a lot of people to turn against the monarchy, and the French would then proceed to, the French first then declared war against Austria and Prussia because they were afraid of those two coming in and messing with the revolution, starting what is called the War of the First Coalition, which would go on for the next 5 years. Then after that, the palace in Paris was stormed, and the monarch and the Louis XVI, and also Marie Antoinette and their children were arrested and placed into a tower to be held for the remainder of their lives. After that was the September Massacre, where over 1,000 prisoners and various other people were confronted in Paris, and if they were suspected of being monarchists, were killed. Follow that with the September 10th, when the First French Republic was declared, which ended the monarchy. In 1793, Louis XIV, or Louis XVI, sheesh, there's a lot of Louis after all, was executed.
That's French.
Yes. Marking the end of the Bourbon dynasty controlling France until the restoration of the monarchy after the Napoleonic Wars. During 1793, we would see the rise of the Jacobins, who were an extremist group of the radicals of the French legislature, and the creation of the Committee of Public Safety. Yes, the Committee of Public Safety. They'd become very interesting, led by a man named Maxim.
Cut down the music a bit.
I think Jesse left.
Sorry.
It's starting to sound like the music we get at the end of some political speech for like the Oscars, where they're like the wrap it up music.
Yeah, but the Committee of Public Safety would come underneath the control of a man named Maximilien Robespierre, who is basically the official leader of France, of the Republic now, and he would bring about some fun as he became more paranoid and more suspicious of those around him. Also, partially through that year, you would have Spain, Naples, Sicily, the Netherlands, Britain, Portugal, the Grand Duchy of Tuscany joining the war against France. In October, Marie Antoinette would be executed, and to give a quick overview of what happened to their 4 children. One child died before the revolution. Two children died before the revolution. The Dauphine, which is their term for the heir apparent, and also a young baby girl. Both died before the revolution. Their eldest daughter, unfortunately, she would live in the tower through most of the Reign of Terror until she was allowed to go free after Robespierre was removed from power, and she then went through a prisoner transfer. She was allowed to go to Austria, where before marrying her cousin, the son of the Charles X, who would become the future king of France after the Napoleonic Wars. Their remaining son, unfortunately, would die in the tower in Paris from illness. But when they did an autopsy, they found that he was covered in scars from being abused by his handlers, who took over custody of him after his parents both were executed. Following this, the
part where France fucking begins Hunger Games, because that's where we are right now.
That's where we're technically starting, because just to enter Robespierre, just hear me, when he said to get paranoid, you're not kidding. He started in control, started executions, and it's like he truly believed. He just got to execute enough people. And
yes. With the Committee of Public Safety and Robespierre's taking power, eventually, after Marie Antoinette's execution, he really dived into insanity and paranoia and suspicion, and basically executing everyone left and right with the guillotine. Basically, 35 to 45,000 people were executed in the 2 years of the Reign of Terror. And during the Reign of Terror, they would also target the clergy. There was the declaration of the Cult of Reason, which became the state religion, an atheistic state of religion for the country, replacing Catholicism. Churches were converted into temples of reason. They would have prostitutes dressed up in goddess-like regalia and be carried into the temples of reason, like Notre Dame, by men dressed in togas. They completely restructured the calendar, abandoning the Gregorian calendar and going for the French Republican or French Revolutionary calendar, entirely different. There was like 12 months. Each month had 30 days. Each week was divided into 10-day weeks. There was 5 to 6 days added at the end of the year for holidays. They completely restructured the calendar, restructured the measurement system. They were trying to do everything they could during this time of the revolution to do away with anything that could be resembled of French and the French monarchy and the church. Robespierre hated the Cult of Reason, so he completely abolished it within the first year of its creation, and created the Cult of Supreme Being, because he believed that there needed to be some godlike figure over everything, but he didn't really care for the Christian God. He was a deist. So, and this leads us into where we will be popping down in Doctor Who with the madness and insanity of the Reign of Terror.
Yeah,
it's just a horrible mess.
We can sum it up as the French are kind of villains, and more people need to recognize that.
I would say that it's very much.
I mean, you ask any good British person that, and they would agree.
I would say when you destroy your basic government structure, there's a reason why the British went about it the way they did. They didn't want a complete fucking anarchy that follows when you do that. So because they went over and kind of fucked over their entire governmental structure, it got really fucking nuts. And there were assassinations, there was blood running through the streets.
Well, I mean, it didn't help because with the British government and everything, their government evolved from King John, the infamous John. There's no other John named in the British monarchy because of how horrible he was, supposedly. But since him, the British monarchy has been going further and further away from absolutism and was becoming more parliamentarianism. And it just took time for the British government to take shape, whereas the French government has always been basically an absolutist monarchy. or some version of monarchy alone, with some occasions of noblemen basically running the show instead. But the problem is, when you have an absolute monarch, when bad things happen, there's no one else to point fingers at when things go wrong. For example, prior to the American Revolution, the American colonists were very much pro-monarchy. They didn't want to break away from Britain at first. They were begging the king to do something to help to kind of find common ground with them. They were pointing all their fingers at the prime minister and saying that he's the bad guy. But when the king kept on slapping away every overture, every hand reaching out from the colonists and saying, no, we're not, you are being petulant children, we're going to punish you, they eventually just gave up and says, okay, the king's bad guy now. But the French didn't have that. They didn't have that. They had the king and the king alone.
There you go.
It's just not about finger pointing. It's just like, this is kind of what happens with revolutions just in general, is once that destabilization happens, everyone goes bug nut, and then there's a reforming. So we're in the bug nut state.
Most revolutions are very much like the French Revolution. The American Revolution, that was a unique one, because after we were done fighting. Most of revolutions descend into chaos. The French Revolution, the Russian Revolution, so on and so forth.
Yep. All right. Your average Patriot nerd. Thank you for the one common nerd membership. Sorry, my mic was off, so you didn't get to hear the cool music and get them all to stop for a second. But you guys got to see the fun graphics. So
we heard the music.
Did it come through?
Terrible. Yeah. It was just the sound. It was a little bit too loud.
Oh, did it come through? It's weird. It shouldn't have if my mic was off. That's all.
So I apologize for the extensive and long diatribe, but this just kind of lays out why things were so nuts when the Doctor and his companions plopped down right in the middle of it.
No, that all makes sense, as you actually did go over and cover up the entire French history, as told by my college professor, the good one, not the guy named Troy. The guy named Troy was a cunt. And I hope you watch this, you fucking asshole, you cue-balled motherfucker. I still hate you. You were the worst fucking history teacher in the world, and I didn't need to take your class. I was retarded.
What really matters about the French Revolution, I can sum this really quickly, it was a revolution, bloody revolution on steroids. I already see your reaction, but no, really. I mean, it's probably the worst ever, including the Soviet. Think about that for a moment.
What about the Nazi revolution?
There was no Nazi revolution.
Oh yeah, they were voted in.
They were voted in.
Actually, Hitler was appointed. He was appointed he was appointed by the president.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, everybody went by to YouTube.
Oh, guys, if you're on YouTube and you want to watch us do Doctor Who, jump over to the Rumbles.
Please join.